Welcome in, everybody. It is week one of the NFL season. I am Dan Wiederer of the Chicago Tribune, joined by Dionne Miller of ABC7 Chicago. We got a Bears game this week, Dionne. What do you think?
We do. Surreal though that may sound and feel. It does seem bizarre that we're here. Did you like no preseason games? I liked it, I think. I don't know.
Parts of it. You know, eventually you need something on the field to advance your understanding of the team and the narrative. So I could have used one or two. I didn't miss all four of them, I'll tell you that much. But we got a real game Sunday in Detroit that is going to give us a lot to talk about.
It is. And the Bears somehow think they saw enough during training camp where they barely went live to crown Mitch Trubisky their starting quarterback again. How do we feel about this, Dan?
Yeah, I don't know. And I think that's the place that most of Chicago is in. I know that Mitch, when he spoke with us on Sunday afternoon, said that he has a fresh, clean slate. And I'm very happy that he feels that way and that he has that confidence that it's a fresh, clean slate. But I'm sure you would agree that in the city of Chicago, Mitch Trubisky does not have a fresh, clean slate. The first time he throws a 3rd and 6 pass 4 yards over a receiver's head, the first time he turns the ball over, the first time there's a 3 and out, the city of Chicago is going to be on edge. And Mitch and Matt Nagy and everyone else with the Bears better be ready for that. The fresh, clean slate is going to last one play.
Agreed. I was going to say, so we'll be talking about the city going crazy by halftime on Sunday. I mean, that's what it feels like might happen. And I don't know if I feel like it was a true competition. I feel like the plan all along was to have Mitch start unless he really screwed it up. I think the concern has to be that we watched a couple of weeks of training camp that we could see, and neither one of these guys actually stood up and said, I'm going to take this job. And now they maintain that Mitch did that, more so in the way he carried himself off the field than he did when he was on it. And I think we even saw that, just the way that he spoke with us. And yeah, he sounded more grown up. Well, that makes sense. He's a year older. I don't know that we saw anything different on the field than we had seen in the last 3 years.
Well, and this is the interesting part, because this will be Mitch's 4th season, and we've gotten to know him enough over the first 3 seasons to know that Mitch plays pretty well when he's in a good mindset and when he's confident. But that confidence can be very fragile and it can be easily shaken. And so that's where the Bears have to really sort of embrace this positive vibe that Mitch has going into the season. Oh, by the way, they get to play a Lions team that he's torched over the last 2 years. 3 of his 7 300-yard passing games have come against the Lions. So there's a chance to get off to a good start and continue that mojo. But once that gets shaken a little bit, now you're back to the same old Mitch. And that's, I think, the fear that while Matt Nagy can talk about improved pocket presence, improved accuracy, improved decision-making, that's also like me going to the driving range, hitting a few balls down the middle of the driving range, being like, swing's fixed, you know?
Right.
It's a whole different ball game when you get out on a course. And until we see Mitch playing game action, we have no idea whether his improvements are significant enough to play winning football.
But because of his fragile mindset, don't you think that's why they highlighted so much that he maybe didn't show as much of that during training camp? Now, again, he didn't even take the field. Not that he's played much preseason anyway, but we haven't seen him have those moments where his head drops and he walks away. I mean, I saw it a couple times, but it's not the same when it's a different team and a different defense, and his mentality is just different. I'm anxious for Sunday. I agree. He's had such a good track record against Detroit that this should give him extra confidence heading in. And the fact that whatever the conversation was, he was told they believe in him. And Ryan Pace, whether it's true or not, continues to say this organization is very high on Mitch Trubisky. That might be wonderful, but he's not making $160 million over the next 4 years that like the quarterbacks we're going to see on Thursday night. Like, these are the guys who were sitting right there. This is never going to go away. This is never going to go away. And it's only going to get even worse if and when Nick Foles is the guy behind center to start a game.
Yeah, and you even got the sense talking to Matt Nagy and Nick Foles on Sunday that had Nick had the luxury of a normal offseason, had he had OTAs and minicamp and the full 6 weeks of training camp and all 4 preseason games, that maybe he could have gotten more comfortable and more settled. You sense that the lack of being settled was one of the things that really set Nick Foles back in this competition and didn't allow him to win the job. And so now he's got to figure out what to do with that going forward. Obviously, you mentioned it. It seems like a when, not if scenario. And so I've joked all week that the phrase short leash is going to become the most popular phrase in Chicago for the month of September. and into October. And Matt Nagy's got to determine just how long that quote unquote short leash is.
Well, I think that their patience will be very thin with him, and it should be at this point. I was just reading an article last night of a scout in the league who had said out loud, Mitch can't do it. And I think that's what we've seen. Great guy. He's athletic. He is a quality backup in this league. I don't think he is the number 2 overall pick. I really don't. And I think they know that he isn't either, but they have to give him this opportunity to show them something that we haven't seen yet. I just feel like it's going to be a lot of the same old, and we're going to end up making this quarterback change, which is going to set them back. And so any sort of aspirations for postseason or how the season's going to look is now going to have this asterisk. Well, we changed quarterbacks in the middle of the season. Like they're not going to be able to find their rhythm or identity, which was missing all of last year too. Like I don't know that anything's really changed in this moment. And look, I grew up a Browns fan. Okay. We are the poster child franchise for taking quality backups and forcing them to be starting quarterbacks. And that's sadly what I think that Mitch is. Now I know that Nick Foles' background is more coming off the bench and rising to the occasion in those moments. But from go, Dan, I mean, I think you've seen it too. He has looked and sounded like an NFL starting quarterback. And I just don't think in 3+ years we've seen that from Mitch.
Not consistently anyway. And that's the thing. I've got a couple numbers for you, being that you're a Browns fan. Since the start of the 2000 season, the Browns have had 30 different quarterbacks start at least one game for them. Yeah. The only team that has been worse than the Bears have had 23. And so neither franchise has been able to find stability at the most important position in sports. As it relates to Trubisky, one of the numbers that I dug up last week that was staggering was he's now made 42 starts in his career, including the playoffs. 21 times in those 42 starts, the offense has failed to score multiple touchdowns. I mean,
wow. this is half the time they can't even get in the end zone twice in the game. And so that's staggering. And those are the things that will scar Matt Nagy as a head coach. And as soon as there's any sort of sustained struggle, he's going to be itchy. He's going to want to see what the other guy can do. Now, again, it's a matter of when Nick Foles can get comfortable. One more stat for you that's going to blow your mind. Last year in 2019, the Bears were undefeated when the offense scored a touchdown before halftime. It only happened 5 times. It only happened 5 times. But undefeated. That sounds way better than saying it was only 5 times.
Right. But think about it. This is how good that defense is. They say, get us a touchdown in the first half and we'll win the game. And so the list of things that Mitch Trubisky actually has to do to take this from being a rotten offense to being a decent offense are so small. And so, incremental steps, as he said a year ago, incremental progress, those baby steps will go a long way toward taking this team forward.
Oh, my gosh. Well, here's what is hard to grasp as well. Mitch Trubisky was in charge of the 30th ranked offense, whatever they were, however bad were they the worst? I don't think it was quite the worst. They were
the worst in passing yards per play and 29th in total offense.
Yeah. Same guy starting on Sunday. I'm sorry. I just have a really hard time believing it's going to look that different. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe no fans in the stands will just alleviate any pressure he has, and he will look like he is worthy of the number 2 overall pick.
Well,
Here's hoping.
Gets an opponent, right? He gets an opponent that is not great defensively, as they proved a year ago. And so maybe you get off to that start where then you start feeling yourself a little bit. You can carry that into week 2, week 3. I think as long as the Bears don't fall below 500, going into October, Mitch can hold on to the job for as long as he wants to. I think for him, as he said Sunday afternoon, it's back in his control. And that wasn't promised when they traded for Nick Foles. It wasn't promised when they declined the 5th-year option on his rookie contract. So at the very least, they've given him the pen and said, write the rest of your story, and it's his turn to do it.
Yeah, I'd love to know his honest reaction when they did, in fact, trade for Nick Foles. I would love to have him be super transparent about that. I know they both have said all the right things, which of course they will. And I do think Foles has a reputation for just being a class act professional guy. Like, he is the right person to sit down with Matt Nagy for 90 minutes and just say, hey, we're going with Mitch right now. And I would also love to have been a fly on the wall in that conversation. However, I think that he is the right person for this moment with Mitch. He's not going to be walk into the room and kind of dominate. He's going to let Mitch be that guy until he's told until he's told to do something different. So it'll be interesting. You know what I can't stop thinking about? Do you think that Mitch will eventually be a quarterback for the Browns? Because that's his hometown. Like, this is all I keep thinking is, like, eventually Mitch Trubisky will wear a Browns uniform. I just feel like that will happen based on what we just talked about how many quarterbacks they've got.
Yeah, they cycled through 2 or 3 a year. So
I mean,
eventually it's got to get around to him, right?
I would think so. It's like a carousel.
Josh McCown has gotten his crack there, and as well as with 29 other teams, I believe. That's a inaccurate number, but yeah, I mean, it is certainly possible. What's also possible is we actually get to watch a football game on Sunday, and I cannot tell you how exciting that is. After 2020 that has had so much uncertainty, we actually get noon football on Sunday afternoon.
It bothers me that people keep saying, well, forever how long it lasts. I don't care. I'm good with Sunday. Let's just go with week 1. Let's see. I'm excited for Thursday night, although it'll be painful for Bears fans to watch. I'm excited for Thursday night's game. I think that's a great way to start and get through the first couple of weeks, see people travel, pray that everybody stays healthy, and then hopefully we get a real football season, which I think everybody can get behind right now.
I'm behind it. I know you're behind it. Let's stay behind it as long as we can. All right, we'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.